Hi. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the BET Awards from last night, which I was an hour late into, and I was disappointed. I was so excited for the Janet tribute because Janet Jackson was going to perform, Tanashi was going to perform, and when I finally got the chance to watch this show, I was disappointed. I was initially disappointed with the Best New Artist award that was given to Sam Smith out of the other acts who were black. Tanashi was nominated, Ray Shrimmer was nominated, Fetty Wap was nominated, um, Bobby Shmurda, a lot of artists who I felt could have gotten that award and not Sam Smith, who already got 5 awards from the Grammys, an award show that has historically excluded black people. So for this white man to be on the show, which is supposed to praise black excellence, a show that's supposed to give recognition to black artists, and for you to just give that to a random white person, that's really hurtful, to be honest. That you're going to say F your accomplishments, F your hits, F your popularity in the black community for this white man who crossed over in the black community, but didn't get the same radio play and the same love as these other artists. People want to say, oh, it's a popularity contest until it's actually a popularity contest, and then, oh, well, it's about true talent until the person is white, then suddenly, oh, it's a popularity contest. But then when a black person is more popular in an area than a white person, and suddenly it doesn't matter. It's about true talent, which all these artists had talent. To imply that Sam Smith had more talent than Tanashi, Ray Shrimmer, Bobby Shmurda, Fetty Wap, it's racist to imply that hip hop and rap isn't talent. It really is, because everyone knows that it's a genre that is primarily performed by black musicians and artists. So to imply that some non-white, non-rapper is more talented is an insult. And they honestly sound like Rachel Dolezal, Defenders, who said that she did more for black rights than actual black women. So I was so disappointed because I really wanted Tanashi to win. I like Tanashi. I think that she's super talented. I love her music. I love her voice. She reminds me so much of Michael and Janet. I think that she is excellent. And for her to not get an award when I felt that she deserved it, that honestly did hurt, because I do feel like Tanashi has worked hard enough to get an award for it. And the Ray Shrimmer boys deserved it. Bobby Shmurda, Fetty Wap, of course, with Trap Queen. I don't know if it's Fetty Wap or Fetty Wap, so don't kill me for butchering it. But Sam Smith definitely did not deserve it. And apparently Sam Smith didn't even show up to the show because he felt the same thing, that there's no way that he's going to win because he's up against all these black artists and he's white. That's what Anthony Anderson joked about. And honestly, I agree. Like, come on. Like, there was no reason for him to be nominated. I don't hate Sam Smith. I like his music. But for him to win at an award show that is geared towards black artists and black excellence and black accomplishments and achievement, I don't think Sam Smith was appropriate to be in a category. Also, people have been talking about this Tori Kelly girl who is an American Idol contestant. I don't think that she won, but a lot of people like her. I personally don't care for her. I checked out her album to give her a chance, and when I heard it, first of all, it was cliche from the start, talking about, I have a dream and people just don't like me because I don't act a certain way, just sounding like every other hometown white girl with a dream. And then she said in her song, maybe I don't have to take off my clothes to sell out records and concerts, which, wrong. That turned me off real quick. And people are asking me, well, what's wrong with that? You know why? Because I talk about this all the time. Tori Kelly is a slut shamer. She is a slut shaming, self-righteous asshole. Basically saying that women who do take off their clothes to entertain people don't deserve recognition. That the only reason why they get recognized and accomplishment in male-dominated areas is because they take off their clothes. And to sit there and say that because Tori Kelly doesn't have to take off her clothes, that her success is a real accomplishment, is very insulting and it's very misogynistic. Tori Kelly reduces women to sex objects with that line by saying that no matter how talented you are, no matter how good of a dancer you are, no matter how good of a singer you are, if you take off your clothes, then that's all you are. You're just your body. That you're just reducing those women to body. Mariah Carey, Rihanna, Beyonce, even Katy Perry, which I don't like because her whole shtick is to appropriate off of the bisexual identity, which she is not bisexual. So for Katy Perry to have a song talking about I kissed a girl and she's not even someone who IDs with the LGBTQIA identity, I don't like Katy Perry. I don't think that she deserves to be famous for becoming famous for exploiting off of real women's experience, real bisexual women's experience, pansexual women, lesbian women's experience, and for her to just appropriate off an identity as this heterosexual Christian woman. You know, I don't like Katy Perry, but even artists like her are called talentless because she takes off her clothes. Miley Cyrus. I don't care if you take off your clothes, you're still talented. So many women have accomplished themselves by taking off their clothes, by being sexual. Josephine Baker, Marilyn Monroe, Dorothy Dandridge, so many African American female dancers in the jazz Renaissance era. So many, and Marilyn Monroe's not African American, but I just used her as an example as a woman who accomplished so much in a male-dominated area with taking her clothes off, and that means a lot. Who else? What's that NASCAR driver? What's her name? Danica Patrick. A lot of people got mad at her because she was supposedly reducing herself to a sex object, and I was one of those people. But now it's like, who cares if she is dominating a male sport? If she's doing her thing, who cares if she's sexy? Who cares if she wants to show off her body? To reduce her to just a body and not this talented NASCAR driver is ridiculous. But I do think her beauty privilege clearly grants her all this attention because there are better female NASCAR drivers, and Danica be coming into 5th place, but her sexuality is irrelevant. Anyway, I just don't like Tori Kelly for that line. But I listened to the whole album. There's only a few songs that I really like, but other than that, Tori Kelly doesn't stand out to me. Her voice is bland. Her music is bland. She's another Kelly Clarkson. She is another Kelly Clarkson. And last night, people have said that actually Tori Kelly is mixed. Her father is Jamaican and Puerto Rican as well as Irish. And I'm just like, first of all, that's not going to change my opinion about Tori, that she is looked at as this white girl who has a black voice. And second of all, just because her father is multiracial doesn't mean that she is someone who IDs as black. And I have looked at pictures of her father and mother, and from what I have seen from a younger picture of him, he appears to be a light-skinned, mixed-race man who has black in him. He looks like quite a few black guys that I know who are light-skinned, mixed, and primarily black, who ID as black. So he could very well ID as a mixed-race black man. He could very well ID as an Afro-Jamaican man. But I don't know how Tori Kelly identifies. I don't care how she identifies. I'm still looking at her as this white passing person who is getting so much attention because she's blonde and she can sing like a white girl, or she can sing like a black girl. And maybe Tori Kelly is of the black persuasion. Maybe she identifies with black culture, her Afro-Jamaican culture. A lot of her songs were influenced by reggae music. But like I said, the reason why she's getting so much praise is because people are still looking at her as this white blonde girl who can sing like a black girl or like a darker skinned monoracial girl. Mariah Carey. I like Mariah Carey, and As far as I can see, she's a black woman, no matter how white passing she is. But Mariah Carey has already stated her ethnicity and broke it down and said that she IDs as biracial and the black woman, that her culture is African American, and that her grandparent or one of her grandparents is actually Latinx, while her father is African American of Afro Venezuelan descent. So Mariah Carey is half black and IDs as such. So Mariah Carey isn't a Rachel Dolezal. She's not someone who's not black. I don't agree when people say that biracial shouldn't be considered black, because that's vague. Because anyone can be biracial. A non-black person of color can be biracial. And you can't lump them in with a person who is of African descent. If someone wants to self-ID as black, then I have no issue with that. That's their place to say that I am black because I am of that descent. So until Tori Kelly comes out and says that she IDs as an Afro-Jamaican woman, that she IDs as a black woman, and she understands the plight, and she feels that her plight is related to her being a mixed race woman of African and Puerto Rican descent, because there's no reason for me to not believe that her father could also be Afro-Puerto Rican. But I'm not going to automatically assume that this white passing woman of color is black. And it's funny because these same black men were complaining about this white Kappa or Sam Whiteout, who came to the show, didn't steal anyone's spotlight, just took a picture and just hung out, partied, and watched the show. But these black men were so mad just because they saw a picture of him because he was invited. And I don't praise white mediocrity, but what does Sam Whiteout do? Like, he just came to the show. I don't think he should have been invited just because he could shimmy and he's handsome and white. A lot of Kappas can shimmy and are handsome. They're just black. So why does he get the praise? But at the same time, if you're sitting up here writing analysis as to why Sam Whiteout doesn't deserve the attention from black girls and get called handsome from black girls, but then want to claim that this white passing blonde woman is black like us, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite, and you don't only like it when we say that Sam Whiteout is cool because you feel that it attacks your black masculinity, because black patriarchy makes it so that black men are in power where everyone else, every black woman, is not in power. So I don't care that Sam Whiteout came to the show and shimmied his way and went to the after party and took pictures with a bunch of attractive dark-skinned black girls, because you guys sound like haters to me. Because how can you get mad at the fact that some white guy came to the show because he can shimmy, but then want to undercut black women who complain about cultural appropriation? I don't care. I really don't care. I do not care. Now, I care when people care about black women being appropriated and when they want to intersect that with black men's plight. But I don't have sympathy for black men who want to defend Rachel Dolezal and Tori Kelly and whoever else that they idolize, but then get mad at some low-key white boy for coming to a show and he didn't even say anything. He just took his picture and it was floating all over the internet, and these black guys got so mad. Who cares? I really don't care. And you can call me an asshole, but I don't care. But yeah, every time we have some sort of award show, it's always some race discussion. It's always some color discussion, because people want to be obtuse. People want to make colorist good hair jokes like Anthony Anderson, which I pretty much said on Twitter. Anthony Anderson's ironic colorism and anti-blackness is unsettling, not comedic. He's no different than a white comedian who makes racist jokes to be funny. It's not funny. All he is doing is making someone else's marginalization a running gag funny. People are laughing at people who get told that they have bad hair or they are too dark. He's not making any political commentary. He's not Paul Mooney, who makes these jokes And then when he is asked what does he mean by that, he explains the context and how we need to do better to stop having this perception. But Anthony Anderson just makes a joke and people laugh and people don't understand the context. That's not satire. You're just mocking someone else's marginalization. You're mocking oppression. You're mocking a marginalized group's predicament. And for you to sit there and say it's a joke, it's not funny. People hear those jokes all the time since they were a kid. So many black women have heard jokes about being too dark or too nappy headed, and then for you to turn it into a joke and we're supposed to laugh when we've heard this stuff so many times before, it's problematic. But with the Janet Jackson tribute, I actually enjoyed it. Some people found it lackluster, but I didn't mind it. Tanashi did good. Sierra did excellent. Jason Derulo oppressed me. Maybe that was a Freudian slip, but he impressed me. He really did. And I didn't really care for Jason Derulo after his little, what was that really popular song that was famous for the horns or whatever. He got flack for his fetishizing women of color, his sexism in the music video, and I didn't really care for him after that controversy. I never really thought that he was that great of an artist. For the longest time, I thought he was some basic white artist until someone was like, no, you dumbass, he's black. Look at his picture. And sure enough, he's a dark-skinned black man. But as far as I see, I still don't care about his music. Maybe I should check him out. But yeah, he's a pretty good dancer. So I was impressed. So good job. I was impressed by Sierra. I don't really care about Sierra as much as I used to because it's like a trend for her and Keisha Cole to be writing songs about their exes and blaming the other woman and to be blaming the new girl and to be trying to beat her up. That's what Sierra has done a couple of times. And Tanashi has said some things too that I don't really agree with. She hasn't really said anything that bad except her song Chainless, where she's like, I look so good, I'll take your man, which is not a problem to me. I don't care about that line. But then she's talking about making bitches mad because I look good and I'm gonna slap a hoe because I feel so good. Like, it's a pretty misogynistic song, a song with internalized misogyny. She has a couple of songs where it's like, I'm not like those other girls, and these hoes, you know, won't hold you down, and none of these basic hoes got anything on me, and you know what I'm talking about because her man no longer wants her anymore. And it's not an attack on Tanashi, but she has said some things before. But people like Keisha Cole and Sierra make this a recurring theme to them. Like, this is a recurring theme. So I don't want to support Keisha Cole. Sierra is okay, but Keisha Cole's whole point and relevancy is to shame and attack and publicly humiliate black women through social media. She's made fun of Michelle Williams, Beyonce's longtime friend and co-artist, and she's made jokes before about other black women, and people dragged Keisha Cole. I defended Keisha Cole from the classist comments calling her ghetto, but I don't want to support someone who's constantly making music to just attack other women. I don't really feel good. And there's plenty of female artists who have said some slut-shaming things. Even Janet is not immune from it. She has had some respectability politics before, where even though I don't care for Madonna anymore, she did say something that I did not agree with when someone compared her to Madonna in an early 90s interview, and she said, well, yeah, but I do mine with class. And I was like, girl, no. And then in Janet, where she's talking about, you're leaving me for those nasty hoes, but in the next song, she's like moaning throughout the track and drop. Like, come on, Janet. And of course, it seems that she has abandoned her respectability politics long since then. I will never forgive America for scrutinizing her at the Super Bowl when they should have done that to JT, who ripped her shirt off and showed her little nipple ring. I will never forgive that. But no one is immune. Beyonce definitely has made a few songs called Nasty Girl talking about loose women and leaving me for some raggedy heifer or that whack bitch. Like, bitch, come on, blame the other man, not the woman for being looked at or left for. It's not her fault, okay? But I love you, okay? Um, yeah, as I was saying, I just don't want to support female artists who just shame other women. I don't really care to support Tori Kelly because, like I said, she is a self-righteous jerk. Um, she comes off that way. She seems like one of those respectable women who's like, I want to uplift women, but then shame women who don't do what I say or do what I like. She's like Bristol Palin almost, someone whose whole point in career is to tell other women what to do, but then they don't follow it. I don't know about her personal life, but Bristol Palin basically got pregnant again. And I'm not going to slut shame her, but how can she talk about abstinence when she's sitting up there just having sex? Okay, no one is perfect, and I know everyone sins, but come on. Sorry. Do not talk about abstinence and then sit there and just have sex. You know, it's like, yeah, I can do it, but you can't. And I'm rich and I'm from a nice privileged white family and I can tell you what to do because I am above you. And that's essentially what Bristol Palin is doing. And no one is going to stand for this. But I definitely am not going to slut shame her. I'm not going to shame her for having a child out of wedlock for the second time. I'm going to shame her for her hypocrisy. I'm going to shame her for slut shaming other women while doing the same thing, having sex, having children out of wedlock after you're talking about abstinence. And then people are going to say, oh, she's not perfect. Please. Just please. That's basically all that I have to say. I did want to say a little bit about Charleston, that I didn't make a video about it because I was very upset and it did hit home to me, but I do send my love to the families of Charleston and the victims as well. I also want to say that, you know, it's evident that nothing has changed, and I really like how Janet Jackson referenced Rhythm Nation, where she said Rhythm Nation came out 25 years ago and we still have a long way to go. Because I was just thinking about how relevant Living in a World They Didn't Make was, and for her to just give that shout out, that really meant something to me. I was like, yes, Janet, good job. But as I was saying, it was just horrible. It really did hit close to me because I know so many people who go to church who are very nice, and respectability politics aside, you know, just for someone to be this cruel, to pick a place where, you know, people aren't going to be harmful, where, you know, people aren't going to really question your presence, they're not going to judge you, and by that I mean they're going to say, oh, come as you are, and for you to just take advantage of that, it really did hurt me because I've had parents or grandparents who loved going to church, and as Gradient Layer said on her blog, that church is a place that is primarily for Black women, especially Black elderly women. So I knew that these would typically be elders slain. The youngest was 26 and the oldest was 87. So I knew it would be mostly Black women, and it was 6 Black women and 3 men, and 2 children played dead because one of the aunts told them to play dead, and then one woman was spared because the terrorist was cruel enough to say, I want you to live to tell about this. So I'm just very disappointed how, you know, the police just treated him like a human being, bought him Burger King, put a bulletproof vest to make sure that he doesn't get his just desserts, put him in a padded cell or some isolated area where the inmates won't kill him. You know, it's like you're trying to protect this white man for doing a heinous deed. It's like you never want white men to be punished for their deed, but then you want to kill Black men for selling cigarettes. You want to grab a Black girl by the neck and slam her onto the ground just for talking back, and she's in her bikini shooting a little girl sleeping in her grandmother's room, shooting a little boy for playing with a gun. You shoot a little boy named Tamer Rice for playing with a toy gun. You just come out the car, rush him, and shoot him 2 seconds after getting out. And then you want to treat some 21-year-old boy as this person who made a mistake or something. Like a 12-year-old boy can't play with a gun, but a 21-year-old can bring a real gun, can get a license to kill, and then just be handled so humanely. Like, but that's white privilege for you, and white privilege sucks. Light skin privilege sucks. White passing privilege sucks. Colorism sucks. Racism sucks. Anti-blackness sucks. LGBTQIA hate sucks. Everything sucks when it comes to marginalizing people. Trans misogyny sucks. So, have a nice day. I'm going to try to upload this soon. So if it comes in like a day or two later, it's because my phone is really slow, and when I try to upload videos to YouTube, it takes a lot of memory, and then my internet connection, it becomes really slow, which is annoying because when I was at my college campus, it was super fast. I could get it uploaded in like 30 minutes or so, but this can take for as long as 2 to 6 hours or even 18. So